Hi everyone, welcome to this week's reveal of my computer animation challenge submission. Animation is a month-long challenge all about communicating your science, communicating your stories through animation. We're learning different animation each week from the ground up, and this week I'm doing computer animation. As this challenge is all about sharing your science and using animation to do so, I'm gonna just let you watch this short 30-second animation all about the tale of if you find a limpet shell with a hole in it. Hopefully you enjoyed that little animation. It was cute to start off with maybe, and then turned into a bit of a horror story. This is animating how a dog whelk, which is our snail friend here, or friend or enemy, I don't know. Is he a villain? Or is he just surviving? Up to you. But of how a dog whelk feeds. In the UK, we have a lot of sea snails. So snails like land snails, like periwinkles, which are a kind of a kid favourite. They are relatively tame. They like to graze on things and eat seaweeds and just things that are left lying around. But there are also other snail species, and a dog whelk is a predatory species. It's a predatory snail. It hunts down things like barnacles, mussels and limpets, and has a really sneaky trick to make sure that it gets its meal. Now, limpets are great organisms. They like to feed on the diatoms and microorganisms that live on the surface of things, so it will go along and scrape the rock and eat all of those different types of things. If you've met a limpet in real life, you'll know it just looks like a rock, and it's held on as tightly as a rock. A limpet has a really super strong grip onto the rock, and it's basically got a snail inside it kind of thing, and it just uses its really strong muscles to hunker down, and once that limpet is kind of sealed onto the rock, it ain't moving. And so a dog whelk, if it wants to eat it, has to have another trick, and it actually can drill into the shell, like you saw, and release enzymes. And these enzymes basically digest the limpet on the inside, turn it to mush, and then it can use its proboscis, which is basically like a long straw, to slurp up the limpet soup or limpet smoothie and get a nice tasty meal. I like sharing stories like this because you see these harmless little snails on the shore, but when you're shrunken down to the size of a limpet, to the size of a dog whelk, you realise that these are actually scary predators. And yes, we're talking about two kind of snail-like organisms, two things that don't really move very fast, but to them I'm sure that is, you know, a high-speed, scary chase. And it's just one of the weird, gross facts that I've always wanted to share, and thought, you know, animating such a traumatic moment was actually quite fun. If you want to know how I made this animation, then check out the video I released giving you tips and tricks on how to communicate your science and stories through animation, and a bit more specifically about how I did it in Procreate. And please subscribe. Every single Wednesday I release videos about weird content like this. We go rock pooling, we explore our oceans, and we do arty things like animation, and you just learn a ton of weird and wonderful facts that I just love so much. So please subscribe to stay up to date to that, and don't miss out, because man, I think this stuff's pretty cool. Have a great week. See you next time. Bye guys.